Hello everyone, Ben Lombard, Underdogs versus Discovery once again. I have with me Dhurhasamy, also known as Reggie. Reggie, thank you for making the time. I know that you are in total discomfort. You should be in bed and you should be getting treatment. And I know that the brace that you have is not one of the most comfortable ones out. But thank you for making time at short notice to have this interview with me. It is your story. You can start. Tell us your story right from the beginning.
Thank you, and thank you to all the listeners and viewers out there. I've taken out a renewed policy in 2009 with Discovery Life. I've had a Discovery Life prior to the broker that was no longer, so I was introduced to a new broker, so hence they've taken out a new policy. On my application, I've made full disclosures to all my elements and previous surgeries that I've had. And Discovery then opted to do further medicals by sending out nurses at further medical test, back and neck questioning. After all was completed, the policies was accepted on normal rates. In 2010, I've blacked out and was laid up in hospital, and I've had to have a pacemaker because I then suffered arrhythmia. In that, it was an episode, Chaver events. I've hurt my back and my hip, hence led me to have a surgery in 2011. I went and had a spinal surgery in 2011, which was unsuccessful. And upon being unsuccessful, I submitted a claim. I contacted my broker and we submitted a claim. Discovery then came back and repudiated the claim by saying it was a non-disclosure on my policy and my application.
What brought that about?
So according to Discovery, they do not ask you for upfront, your family doctor history, which used to be a trend in the past. This is now a catch in the insurance industry. So when they sent me the claim forms, they now requested for my family doctor to fill in the form, where he said now, he's treated me for muscle spasm, and on 2 occasions, one for the back and one for my lower back. So Discovery came back and said, prior to my policy, I've suffered 2 episodes where I've taken 2 spasm injections for muscle spasm, hence that was a non-disclosure.
Sure, that's harsh. Okay.
So,
I would not have thought that would count as a non-disclosure.
Absolutely. So it led my broker, and they were confused. They've called in Discovery. I then called Adrian Gore's office, and then they afforded me a second opportunity for a review. On the review were the very same people that repudiated my claim again. I then approached the long-term ombudsman, but then I was faced with a challenge because now the head of legal of Discovery is challenging me, a layman. So I had to now go and engage and get an attorney on board,
right,
which they now, Discovery, objected to. And then when we went to the ombudsman, and my attorney said, my client is a layman. How can he go up against the head of legal?
Yeah.
To challenge
Who
him?
was head of legal at the time?
At that time was Glenn Eckling.
Okay.
So when I submitted all the facts with my attorneys, with a comprehensive submission to the background and future and everything, the ombudsman then came and ruled in my favor.
Which year was that?
That was in 2012.
Right. Okay.
But then by the time in 2012 when the ombudsman came in, I was already on my 3rd surgery. I had to go for an emergency review surgery for my previous surgery in 2011, which was a failure.
Right.
So Glenn Eckling and Discovery then went and admitted my claim under Category C, under a temporary disability. Okay, knowing full and well that the surgery was unsuccessful.
Right.
But what Discovery and Glenn Eckling did was they wrote to the ombudsman and told them, after my first surgery, I was well to go back to work and everything was well.
Which is a blatant lie.
Was a blatant lie. Excuse me. So they then wrote to the ombudsman and said to them, when we raised the point of waiver of premium, which I had, they then came back and said, no, I must agree upon payment under the capital temporary disability that they will now deduct the premiums for the months that I haven't paid. I did not consent to that, but however, when they made the payment, they went ahead and deducted those premiums.
They made some payment to you then?
Yes.
Temporary
payment. On the second payment, they've done the same thing. Thereafter, they terminated my policy. Discovery went and cancelled my policy.
Did they give you warning of it, forewarning of it?
No. Although that we've had, according to what they said was, upon every payment they will deduct the waiver premium.
Right.
And at that time, I'm not receiving the salary because I've got 3 surgeries and all of it is unsuccessful. I couldn't get back to work. So my policy was cancelled. After cancelling my policy, this matter was still with the ombudsman. Discovery was playing this game to and fro, every excuse. They stretched this matter out right up to 2016, from 2011 to 2016 with the ombudsman. And in that time, Glenn Icklin was part of the ombudsman's panel.
Really?
That worked for Discovery.
So there's a pattern as well, because henchmen was also found to have been...
Correct. So the very people that's repudiating our claims in Discovery are the very people that are sitting now in the Ombudsman's office.
Having a finger in the pie.
Absolutely correct. After cancelling my policy, we informed the Ombudsman about the cancellation. We also at that time, we've had, whilst I was in hospital again in 2013, I had Discovery agents come into the office to verify if I was really in the hospital, verifying if I was still in theatre, verifying if I was still taking those medications. Okay. In 2014, when I've had another spinal surgery, the Ombudsman then requested for a medical report, which I had an independent doctor, Dr. Yaka, to give me a medical report. At that time, my attorney had written to Discovery, inviting them to send me to their doctors, to their own expert, to check my medical condition.
Right.
Discovery refused. Discovery refused. So what they did was then, thereafter, upon getting the report, they now engage in policemen to come now and do illegal surveillance on me. So what these policemen have also done was try to extort me for 200,000 rand.
Sure. Tell us more about that. I think that's vital, because that's also a trend that I've been picking up through all the other interviews that I've had up to now.
So Seelan Naidu, who was employed at Discovery at that point as a forensic investigator, had 2 brothers by the name of Vasudevan Naidu and Krishna Naidu, who are both policemen, one in Gauteng and one in Durban. But all of them act together for Discovery. They came through another policeman saying to me that they got a video footage of me and they want 200,000 rand.
What video footage did they say they had?
So there was at one time that I had to go to the doctor for treatment, and the arrangements was to meet at the Suncoast Casino. And at that time, I felt there was something off.
Right.
I made a stop at the police station and I notified them of what's going on. So the police is accompanied. Upon their instruction, they asked me to just be normal, go in there and just play around and just be normal. But in the meantime, Krishna Naidu, the policeman, was video recording.
How do you know that? Because that is quite interesting
Yes.
observation.
After he made that recording, he now goes to my friend and he shows him this video recording, who is a policeman.
Right.
And me being an ex-policeman, I'm widely known in the Durban area and greater Durban area. So he picked up the phone and he said to me, listen, there's a policeman here. His brother works for Discovery and he's got you on his video recording. And I said, what is he, why would he have my information, a recording of me? Is he investigating me or is he inquiring on me?
Right.
Nothing of that sort. So what they did was they took this video footage and they pushed it under my daughter's business place at a nightclub, showing me that they had this proof.
Of you being at the casino?
Yes. They then called me and said they wanted 200,000 rand for this video footage to go.
When was this?
This was in the period of 2016, 2017.
Right, okay.
Sorry, 2014.
Okay,
Pardon me, there's so much has been going on
that's fine.
in this.
I understand.
So we arranged with the corruption unit at the police. They set it up at my daughter's business place to be there. And we awaited them to come now to pick up this money. But in the meantime, Krishna Naidu...
You had the money ready for it?
Yes, with the money was ready. Krishna Naidu, Vasudevan Naidu, and Sila Naidu was there recording. But in the meantime, one of my daughter's employees was also videoing a function that was happening.
Right.
And after that, they called me and said, listen, you think you're being clever? You brought the police in there. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. So they sent me the second footage, which was they've taken on that night. So when we played that video footage, and then this employee said, listen, I've also taken a video footage on that night. So we were playing both video footage on opposite direction. And here comes one of the patrons and said, hey, I know this guy here. This is Krishna Naidu. He's from Syndicate police station.
Damn.
And then he pointed out Sila Naidu, who he said to me works for Discovery. And he pointed out the other brother, Vasudevan, by the name of Keegan, who works in Gauteng as a policeman as well. So when this footage is, when I refused to give them and they discovered that the police was involved,
Right.
they now go and send this video footage to the ombudsman. My attorney and I quickly got hold of the ombudsman and we said to them, they wanted permission. We said, we're not giving you permission. Then the ombudsman came back and said, we don't need your permission to view the footage. And then they looked at the footage and they came back and said, in the meantime, whilst we invited Discovery to have their doctors to do a full medical assessment of it, they refused. But what they've done was Discovery got their own internal doctor, Dr. Swanepoel, to do a full medical report and assessment on me on looking at a 3-minute video. She did a comprehensive report, and they submitted both the report and the footage to the ombudsman. The ombudsman then dismissed Swanepoel's report and then found that the video footages were edited, spliced, and tainted.
Damn.
But what's surprising, after the ombudsman had made all of these reports, all of these orders, still come back and say there's a dispute of fact. We must go to court. I then go and issue summons in the matter, and Discovery goes now on this expedition and brought 4 exceptions in court, putting me out of pocket every time. That's the whole idea and strategy behind it.
Right. Yeah.
So
I've picked up that pattern as well.
finally, when I took to the media, they put the matter back on the road, and to find they lost the matter in court, in the High Court, would cost.
How much does it cost you up to now?
It costed me just over R1 million.
All right, so where are we now? After that, what happened?
So what had happened was the criminal charges that I've opened now reached the years of IPID. So IPID went along and started investigating these cases. When they investigated these cases, they found that these policemen, Krishna Naidu, Sila Naidu, and Vasudevan, were not registered in terms of FACIRA. They didn't even have the fraud exams. They haven't done the fraud exam. Nothing. Right? They went here and
How many of them were still policemen at the time?
so Krishna Naidu and Sila Vasudevan.
Right. What ranks were they? Do you know?
So at that time, Krishna Naidu was a warrant officer, and I think Vasudevan is still a sergeant.
Okay.
So IPOD made a recommendation after they finding evidence to SAPS. SAPS then went ahead and had their own internal department to do a full investigation. When they did the investigation, they found overwhelming evidence and decided to charge these policemen.
Departmentally or criminal?
Departmentally.
Okay.
And criminally, there was a case at the moment that's going on. So upon departmentally that they were charged, I had 3 death threats asking me to drop these charges.
Where did these death threats come from?
Through phone calls.
Yeah?
And then one time,
Was it people actually speaking to you?
yes, and at one time at my attorney, when I was going to my attorney's office, I had a drive-by shooting. Okay? And I knew very well that...
That's all reported.
Yeah,
You have that on record. even.
I've put that onto the Colonel Lashaba, that there's attempts on my life.
Yeah.
I've made that known to the investigator from IPOD. And then SAPS, internal investigation, found Krishna Naidu on 5 accounts guilty. They issued me with a certificate of the outcome.
Okay.
The criminal charges are still in court. So what Discovery did, they came with their attorneys, Keith Sutcliffe, Newman, came to court to challenge the investigator that he had no jurisdiction to investigate them because they are Discovery Life.
So they're above the law?
Correct. Unfortunately for them, they've lost their bid in that the court had awarded the investigator continue to go investigate them.
Right.
Soon after, Shane Chatsworth going to open a case against the investigator for intimidation.
The IPOD investigator.
Charged the IPOD investigator. So the IPOD investigator, the case went to court and was thrown out of court.
Okay.
They then went to the executive director of IPOD, and they had an IPOD executive director and Discovery colluded in derailing this investigation. We're waiting now going to 3 years for the criminal case to go on, and they don't want to give any information. Also, the Discovery, when it charged me for fraud in Santon, for submitting extra income to SARS. I was contacted by the NPA, who then contacted the SARS, and SARS said, we have no fraudulent activities on Mr. Dhurhasamy. There's no fraud.
So that was a smear campaign?
Correct. On the last one now, they went now and trying to implicate me on a pacemaker syndicate.
Pacemakers?
Pacemaker syndicate.
Yeah, I heard something about that. Tell us more about it.
So I've also heard, and some of those claimants came to me because I was on social media and I was assisting them. So what they did was use that to implicate me in this pacemaker syndicate.
What is a pacemaker syndicate?
So a pacemaker is that when you have an irregular heartbeat.
Right. Yeah, but why would they call you part of a pacemaker syndicate?
So I have no idea.
Is there such a thing that you know of?
No, all I know is that Johan Morton, who we met in court, gave evidence that I was the mastermind of this pacemaker syndicate. And they've opened a case in 2017 up till now.
But you've been fitted with a second pacemaker through Discovery.
They said they have flagged me, they flagged my account at Discovery with the medical aid and stuff like that. But in 2023, when my pacemaker failed, I went in and fitted another pacemaker, which was authorized by Discovery Health. In the summons, I was summoned to come to court to give evidence. And I met the head of legal, Newman. And he said, I didn't know you had a second pacemaker. And then he mentioned about my claim. He said, listen, I'm only taking orders from my bosses.
Who's his boss?
Rian van Rennen.
So would you say Newman's being used as a puppet?
Correct. Because I said
Is that the impression you got?
Correct. I tell you why. Because when Sunday Tribune got hold of Rian van Rennen on the surveillance,
Right.
he said that he acted within the coordinates of the law. The investigation was all in accordance with the law. When he found out they lost the case, then he brings in Newman to come to take over the commenting on the reports. to Sunday Tribune.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I met with Ian Newman, and I said to him, they threw you under the bus, and he just kept quiet and looked at me. Right? And after that, a week later, second week later, Discovery goes and brings now another application to dismiss my claim again, which we're busy dealing with. After 15 years. After they lose the ombudsman, I put ruling in my favor,
Right.
finding them guilty. They're losing in the High Court with costs. They still go now and bring me another application to dismiss my claim.
They just don't give up.
They don't give up. They will use anything.
They
not to
either
bring
want
claim.
you to give up or
Correct.
die.
Absolutely. That is the trend of how Discovery operates. When I gave evidence, I said to the court, Discovery's business model is not to pay claims. Now, in me, when I take it to social media, there were so many other claimants came.
Yes.
And the commonality of everything is that it's no more about medical evidence. It's all about illegal surveillance. Your claim is based on illegal surveillance.
And intimidation, obviously,
Correct.
and a bit of extortion in between. So it's a combination. It's the same pattern.
Absolutely.
And just for the record, everyone, I did not know Reggie until today. Although I heard of his case previously. The same, it's like a stuck record, a stuck vinyl. It's the same story, extortion, fighting the claims, High Court, and even if they lose, they just don't give up.
Also, I'm aware of our phones are being picked, and Discovery has a system from Pegasus that intercepts our phones, our phone records, our emails, our messages.
That is what you suspect.
No, I know that for a fact. I know that for the fact. And if you look at Dr. Swanepoel's report, she's given events in 2030 prior to what is going to happen in 2040. So she basically was like some kind of
Clairvoyant.
Yeah, to tell you what's going to happen in 2014 in a report. But this is how far Discovery Life will go. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I've paid my premium, so would other claimants. I want my claim paid. They've also went to Old Mutual, and they have interfered with my payment, my income payment.
How do you know that?
Yvette van Wyk was the investigator for Old Mutual, came with Johan Morton from Discovery. And at that time, the investigator came and offered me to turn state witness against another claimant for a bigger claim. And they said they will start my claim, and I refused. The minute I've refused, then goes my Old Mutual claim.
Hey, it's a never-ending story, Reggie.
Never-ending story. Now, this is not only the first time that Discovery has done that. They've also done it on the other claimant, where they've now actually going and saying to an insurance company.
Is that a claimant that we both know?
Yes, we both know.
Okay, that one we'll leave for another.
Correct.
All right, so where are we now?
So we're pushing on. We're getting together. We're standing together. I want to make a clear statement to Adrian Gore. As a CEO of Adrian Gore and the shareholders, the people that the blood of the claimants are on your shoulders and your hands.
And the policyholders.
And the policyholders. You know what's going on. You know very well what's going on.
Adrian Gore. Yeah, the same. What is your message to them?
Pay our claimants. Pay all these claimants. This is why we take our policies out. And this on your policy guide, on your contract, on your policy guide, on your advertisement, and your assistant CEO for your Discovery Life, made an open statement that you will put us in a better financial situation in the event we become ill, terminally ill, failed surgeries. Adrian Gore, you're going up against everything that you promised us and you put out there.
Instead of fixing potholes in Johannesburg, Adrian Gore, look at this. Do we have to really put up with that? Reggie, your message to Adrian Gore is pay up. Adrian Gore, I think it's a little bit too late for that. It's coming your way.
Thank you.
Thank you.